All right, so obviously we're introducing Smart Brother, the Cris Carter Partnership, and EdTech Strategy with Legacy Education Alliance. The idea is doing well by doing good. We're actually making impact investing work, which oftentimes people talk about it, but really it's just about impact or just about investing. It's hard to get both priorities in line and get them exponentially successful, but that's exactly the business model and the team that we have to do that and be an example in business of how to make a massive impact and also be investable, scalable, uh, and with no limits. So basically, this first page, obviously introducing Cris, his commitment to the youth and those single mothers, anybody that really needs to get that upward career mobility and be educated to have some power to improve their lives. Talks about launching our first stadium event in Akron, Ohio in Q3, 4 of this year. That's a kickoff event. We have a bunch of, not just Cris. We have Chris, Whitney, a guy named Mecadon you haven't spoken to, who is an incredible story that relates to putting him on stage and inspiring alongside Chris and Whitney, even myself, any audience, frankly, exactly our target demographic. So when you get into this, it's just talking about how we're going to inspire, motivate, and deliver. This is just information about the underserved and all types of statistics of frankly, they make lower money, they have worse housing, and they don't get as many bachelor's degrees, and that's a big issue. So we're addressing that. Talking about Smart Brother, building on Legacy's 25-year investment in people and systems, 10 million into Oracle NetSuite software to manage over, which did manage and can continue to manage, billions in sales. But this time we're focusing on profitability and digital delivery. And we have a core team. We're ready to go in turnkey. Certainly a large stable of prospective investors interested and ready and willing to get us on the road immediately. We're just waiting to brush up this presentation. We wanted to give Mark preferential treatment here, which is what we've done today because he brought the deal to Barry. So Smart Brother is going to receive a 10% royalty on the revenues from its database. It's the whole front of this entire thing. That's actually double what Rich Dad Poor Dad was getting percentage-wise, and it was extremely lucrative for them. That's a gross kicker, which locks in the lead that makes all of this and these internal pillars of a multifaceted vertical to meet the needs of the underserved and be monetized. So right here's, you may or may not know about Apex Education. Chris and Jeff's son, Marcus, and partner Connor have an incredible business that they had just prepped to launch into the marketplace, which is focusing on leveling the playing field again, giving affordable access to the pros, expert instruction, sport specific, position specific, and at the end of the day, with subsidies from nonprofits, grants, and corporate sponsorships, we should be able to get the consumer cost down to like $19 for a student in a poor area who's got incredible potential, and use this as a conduit to say, hey, we're going to get you we're going to give you access to the pros. You're going to learn from the best right now. It's not going to cost you anything practically, whereas they don't have those options. And yet we also want you to concurrently go through some of Legacy's products and be moving, down the path of both athletic performance and education development, as well as life skill, career, and traditional education development. So we've got our targets there. What wasn't mentioned is that we have many groups that we can partner with. So nonprofits such as Goodwill, 6 billion a year in revenue. They're not just about selling used clothes. They're really about upward mobility and careers and giving people jobs. And so that's something that we can partner with. That's going to lower our cost per customer, give us access to their database. And we're going to do that not just with Goodwill, but things like United Way, Chalk Hospital, St. Jude, the entities that Chris mentioned, which is just a few of his connections. It's really going to be a kind of the secret sauce, one of many secret sauces of how we fill stadiums, get butts and seats, and actually get these people into these programs and have them complete it so they actually get results. But at $10,000 for a full bachelor's degree, it's incredible. 18 months, we can get someone with 10 grand financed if necessary to get a degree, that otherwise they would not be able to get, so they can get a better job, make more money as a nurse, as a social worker, you name it, CPA. So that's a massive opportunity within what we're doing here. And let me see here. If you look at just Coursera, Coursera is a multi-billion, a $2-3 billion company running at massive losses. And so huge cash burn in ed tech and massive valuations. We're super, super lucky. We're going to dominate this space, offering something to the consumer that is largely more valuable. And even if we get 5% of their business, we're going to be doing, that's $1 billion business right there. So needless to say, it's all upside with legacy degree. Social housing, Whitney, you'll learn more about what she knows, but she's absolutely an expert. I mean, 2 decades, she's in her early 30s, and she's already got 2 decades of expertise. Her father has 4 decades. So the relationships that they have just aren't duplicatable. Very few people know even how to do this, and we can do it all across the country. Easily justifies $1 billion going into social housing. That's a huge pillar, and that's turnkey. Now, again, getting back to the big picture here, obviously we're leveraging the Cris Carter brand and delivering on the vision and mission. And this funnel of the stadium events, Apex Sports as the conduit into concurrent traditional education, upward mobility for the underserved, social housing, and then this entrepreneur training, which is not being thrown in the trash. It was a great business. It was a high cost business the way it was run previously. We are improving that model dramatically, and yet it's a little more complete in that we're going to address credit repair, financial literacy. We even have opportunities for salon franchising, which is an incredible model. We have the leadership, actually 3 options, which we may use all 3 to get that vertical going when the time is right. We're definitely not scattered and going in every different direction, but there are, like I said, many synergistic verticals within this to meet many needs. And that's why it's so critical we had Jeff, because Jeff is someone who can manage 5 COOs. All of us have these skills, but Jeff is really, really a specialist in that regard, and very excited to play that role. Obviously, real estate investment across the board, whether it's multifamily, a real estate investment trust, these are things that all get housed within Smart Brother Legacy platform. So this gets into greater detail. We can send this for your follow-up. We'll have it done in about a day. So we'll just follow up so you can get into a walkthrough that isn't so rushed. But basically, we have 3 pillars for purpose and profit. Okay, so not hard for us to raise this money. Again, Mark, as a professional courtesy for bringing legacy to Barry, we wanted to go to him first. So the idea of some convertible, a few $1 million in convertible debt to legacy makes sense as contemplated. So we need to move pretty quick with that to let him establish that position, because we're off to the races. And you see that Smart Brother, we're asking for $5 million at a $25 million valuation. Apex, $2.5 million ask. Seed round at $12.5 million valuation. Legacy, basically, we'll take up to $5 million. That's a pipe structure. And of course, we're taking best practices to taking the money correctly. So least amount of risk to the principal, and the greatest amount of upside is maintained. Barry is very solid when it comes to setting that up correctly. I've done it a number of times myself, so I'm very familiar. We've built a $500 million company. And let me see here. The goal here for monetization is to publicly list Smart Brother within 36 months. This is a hard and fast build to a few $100 million plus company, public. And same thing with Apex. There's options on how we can have that support our front runner with Smart Brother, and or concurrently build and sell, whatever makes the most sense for the investors and for the mission. Let me see here real quick. So this appendix just talks about Barry, myself, with strong backgrounds as well. And this is stuff you can take a look at when we follow up. But in closing, I think I'm probably on time here. Again, ed tech companies have high valuations with negative earnings. Our profit model is without exaggerating or being cocky, it's poised to dominate. It's a very impressive thing that's been put together here. We're all very blessed that we have a full spectrum of talent, commitment, access, resources, and a business model to match, with some clever tricks in the mix to allow this impact investing again to be highly lucrative, and we don't have to compromise our ethics. So again, we believe in building businesses that have a clear path to providing not only valuable services that positively impact society, but also profitability. And the edtech world's led by companies that don't meet this criteria. So it's a massive difference that we're bringing. It's going to be very, very attractive and valuable to many students. Something we haven't mentioned, which is here on this document, is that we are fortifying Chris's leadership role and Smart Brother legacy with many supporting roles that are also in and of themselves revenue generators. And one is Smart Sister alongside Smart Brother. And Alicia Hampf is extremely excited. All of us have identified her as a really great fit and complement to Cris. So we get the women and we kind of complete that the demographic reach. And so she's a 6-year veteran in the U.S. Army, Department of Defense. Now she's running an all-women run VC with a goal of $1 billion AUM, and she's on track. And she's a powerful public speaker, someone that I feel comfortable putting alongside of Cris, who's really one of the best I've ever seen in my life. And so I think she's a great compliment. But she opens up a new vertical that I'll kind of wrap it here, which is very exciting, which is that she had created an entrepreneur curriculum years ago, and we've been reviewing it. Barry, his family, Cooper Smith, which is now legacy degree, and we're going to create a degree, an MBA program. I think it'll be probably $18,000, probably with subsidies and support to get these, to give access to all of the military personnel, you know, to get a degree. And it's going to be probably promoted in the recruiting. So there's a big opportunity with the military, to say the least. And